What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to talk about the Annihilators and take a look at the main points of what they have in their kits and what they are going to bring to the table in terms of Cosmic Crucible. The Annihilators are a team that are designed to dominate in Arena, but their kits go way beyond that, and because they are part of the MSF Stats Revamp 3.0, they will be very powerful even at low stars. So right away, based on that alone, a day 1 character unlocked will have a great impact in terms of Alliance Wars and specifically Cosmic Crucible. So we're going to take a look at what they bring to the table and in which room they are going to dominate the most. Some of these characters are going to be better on offense rather than on defense. Some of these characters you're going to use them with another Annihilator allies, others not so much, and that's a good thing, right? You guys let me know in the comments below if you guys like this diversity that you can have with these characters, or if you prefer the more cookie cutter teams that don't require to think so much. Let me know in the comments below, and that's going to be the topic for this video. So as always, if you like information on these videos, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Now, this video is a sister video that is going to be posted on my Patreon and for YouTube members, with where I'm going to put these characters on Cosmic Crucible defense. I break down all the rooms for the season and the setup that I'm going to use with the characters that we have already available, and where to use the upcoming characters. So if you guys are interested in you'll be supporting the channel and getting exclusive content like that. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take a look at what makes these characters to shine, and we're gonna start off with the Gladiator. This guy is very strong. He has very powerful basic, he has very powerful special, and not only he buffs the team, he also provides a lot of other effects like flipping the negative effects on self and Annihilator allies. This is going to make him very powerful in terms of a defensive character, and he's probably going to be one of the characters you want to use on defense, right? He also has this pre-taunting tank with immunity and safeguard, which can only be stopped by Apocalypse. So this is definitely going to be a problem because it's going to limit the options you have to one-shot any room that has Gladiator. Gladiator, on top of that, he also provides safeguard to the team and additional buffs, which is going to give him additional viability in rooms like the room 5, where your buffs are converted into healing, and that's going to make him once again a very powerful defensive character. And finally, we have this unique mechanic on Gladiator that if he has 2 or more Annihilator allies, while this character is above 50% health, characters cannot gain exposed or vulnerable. This is going to be very strong against the Cabal and against other characters that apply exposed, like Super Skrull, Mephisto, and so on. So overall, Gladiator is going to be very strong, specifically on defense, because of all the factors we just mentioned. Now, the opposite is true for Gore. Gore, on the other hand, compared to Gladiator, is going to be mostly useful on offense, because all of his abilities remove charges or remove revives or remove specific buffs, and if you have him on defense, well, you cannot decide which enemies you're gonna face, right? And this is why it's going to be more important to have Gore on offense, so you have the capacity to choose where you're going to use him and maximize his value. He also protects the Annihilator allies with safeguard, but this is not in a scenario where you're going to use the full team. Maybe you're going to use him with Ultimus or with Thanos, but it's going to be very unlikely that you use Gore with the full team of Annihilators. Gore, he also has a symbiote tag, so you could pair him up with Hive Mind, and he also has an ability block, which once again you should use on offense because you can decide which character you're going to ability block, as this character does not have any special AI mechanics to benefit from being on defense. So with this in mind, Gore is definitely a character that you want to use on offense, unlike Gladiator. Now, in terms of Silver Surfer is very annoying, and he can be used on defense, he can be used on offense. It's not going to be a problem. This guy is just super annoying. Now, of course, that on offense is better because you can decide which character you're going to clear the charges from, you can decide which character you're going to apply the disrupt to, and that's definitely useful. But you can also set up your team with their isolate in a way that the AI will benefit out of Silver Surfer. So for example, you could use your Gladiator as a raider and your Silver Surfer as a striker, so whenever Silver Surfer attacks, he also steals the positive effects from the enemies. This is very useful, and once again, if you have the isolate set up properly, you can use this mechanic even with the character being controlled by the AI. On top of that, Silver Surfer also gets more speed, and if you have him with Healer Isolate or Fortified Isolate, he keeps getting barrier or healing up the allies. So yeah, Silver Surfer can definitely be used on defense or on offense. If you want to focus on the disrupt and ability block, go for offense. If you want to make him as annoying as possible, set up your isolate properly, or the other characters with Raider and Skirmishers and him as a striker, or him as a healer, and make sure that he's super annoying, healing up all the time because he's just so fast. Now we're gonna take a look at Thanos, and Thanos has a new mechanic that is very interesting, which is he forces all the enemies to have their buffs expired, even Safeguard, right? So he reduces the amount of turns that the enemies have their buffs down to 0, and the buffs will expire right away, even if it's not their turn. This mechanic is very powerful, and you can use, of course, Thanos on offense to capitalize on this mechanic. Now, you can also use it on defense, because why not? One way or another, every team is going to have buffs, whether it is with Safeguard or not, and having this mechanic of clearing all the buffs right away is very powerful. After that, he's going to attack everyone for piercing damage plus drain, which will definitely be impactful. Unavoidable, unblockable, and so on. Now, Thanos has exposed mechanic like Super Scroll, like Nightcrawler, like Val, which when the target is attacked, is going to generate energy for random allies. They don't have to be Annihilator allies, so you can pretty much put any character with him. So you could, for example, plug and play Thanos with Extreme X-Men, or with Super Scroll, or with Val, or anything else that increases the amount of exposes, and after you just have energy going everywhere and allowing your team to spam abilities. This is very useful for sure. And it's very easy to set up both for defense and for offense. Of course, that if you're going to use this guy on defense, you want to pair him up with characters that have like Taunt, like Gladiator, like Black Knight, or Rogue. Taunt and Safeguard is definitely going to be important to protect Thanos, because just normal Taunt, not as much. Now, Thanos on top of that, he also applies a stun for 2 turns on a very low cooldown on the special. He also provides barrier for our allies, so this is definitely a character that you can pair up with anyone. Once again, on defense or on offense, he's going to have preferable, of course, he's going to be slightly better for offense, but even on defense, once again, if you pair him up with a character that taunts and protects him, he's going to be definitely very powerful. Moving on to the last character, we have Ultimus, and Ultimus is definitely interesting. Now, Ultimus, you can use him on offense to target characters that have taunts, like Black Knight on defense, or Gladiator, or Sasquatch, which is very common nowadays. But on defense, Ultimus is also going to clap because he's going to get more health for the team, and Ultimus is going to be used mostly as a striker, and when he does the striker as a weight, he mind controls the enemies, and on top of that, he also does damage based on his health, which is very high. So there is a very high chance that Ultimus, every time he has a turn, is going to one-shot someone. He also can buff himself with offense up, and this is important because there are rooms that clear the buffs away, but because he buffs himself during his own turn, then the buffs are not going to expire, right? And that's going to be able to provide a lot of damage to the enemies. Now, even if the enemies don't have taunt, that's fine. It's all based on their buffs. It's just that Ultimus goes much faster if you have multiple characters with taunt. So, for example, some people like to put Bishop with Rogue. Well, Ultimus will just go there and one-shot everyone, which is not great. Okay, so that's going to be Ultimus. He can also copy positive effects from himself, spread some of them to the allies. Not super great, but either way. Now, let's take a look at the situation we have right here. Now, if you guys don't remember what each of the rooms do, I will tell you really quick. So on room 1, if you have skirmishers, they apply ability block to the primary target. If you have raiders, they kill ability block from themselves. And if you have strikers with ability block, then they can do additional damage. To be honest, like room 1 is kind of a sleeper. It doesn't do anything. It's very hard to set up. It's a nerf from the rooms that we had before, where the skirmishers could apply ability block to everyone. Now, because it's just single target, and because we have so many pre-taunting tanks like Black Knight and Gladiator, some of them even with immunity, that makes the room 1 kind of forgettable. Room 2, the ultimates cost less. If you have slow, you're gonna gain assist now and assist your allies, making it very powerful. That means a lot of burst damage and fast cooldowns. Having energy generation there is going to be helpful as well. Room 3, we have characters with vulnerabilities, apply vulnerabilities, and if you attack a target with vulnerabilities, you can apply bleed to them. So it's going to be nice to have raiders, skirmishers, characters with assist, applying those vulnerabilities to the enemies, so you can also apply more bleeds. Room 4, it's a room where it's going to be more beneficial for you to use your specials rather than the ultimates. So you could use a character like Gladiator that does the special more often than the ultimate. Room 5, it's the room where the buffs will convert into healing. So you want characters that have a safeguard. And then we have room 6, it's a room where whenever you use your ultimates, the enemies are going to get energy. So preferable, you want to have slower characters, or you want to have characters that do use their specials first rather than the ultimate. Now, as you guys can see, pretty much the Annihilators are going to be great in most of the rooms. Gladiator is going to struggle a little bit on room number 2 because once again, we don't want Gladiator to use his ultimate, we want Gladiator to use his special and his basic, especially when he's on defense. He's also going to struggle a little bit on room 6, depending on which team is being used against the Gladiator. But at the end of the day, in room 6, the value of Gladiator is going to depend on his allies, while in other rooms, you can pretty much put him there, and he's also always going to be amazing, once again, except on room 2. In terms of Gore, it's going to be amazing everywhere. You might have some minor problems in room 4 because you're not going to be able to use the ultimate, and that means you cannot clear revives from the enemies. Apart from that, it's going to be great everywhere, preferably on offense rather than defense. Gore is definitely more of an offensive character rather than defense, but it's not too crazy. The same goes for Silver Surfer. The problem about Silver Surfer is that he's going to be very dependent on which allies he has and which enemies he's facing. You always want to use Silver Surfer against villain enemies. You always want to make sure that Silver Surfer has at least one hero ally. but overall, if you set up the ISO weight properly over your team, Silver Surfer is going to be great. Once again, if you use your characters as raiders and Silver Surfer as a striker, or if you just want Silver Surfer to be annoying as hell on defense and use him with healer and he's just taking turns and healing up everyone. The biggest problem, once again, is going to be room number 4, because he's going to start with his special, and the special is the one that applies Disrupt. If you apply Disrupt to the wrong target, or if you are facing someone with Taunt, then Silver Surfer is going to be kind of useless, so keep that in mind. Now Thanos, once again, great across the board, but you don't want to use Thanos on room 5, because you are not, it's less likely for you to have a character that will protect him with Taunt. You can still use Rogue, you can still use Gladiator, but beyond that, Thanos will be in a more dangerous situation on room 5, so you want to avoid. It's not like he's trash there, but you just want to avoid. And on room 4, we have the same situation. While the Thanos special is strong, you don't want to compromise the chance for him to use his ultimate. So, once again, it's not trash, but you just have to be careful with it. And then we have Ultimus. Ultimus is pretty much great everywhere except on room 4, because once again we want to use that ultimate rather than the special, but even the special is decent because it does a lot of piercing damage and it does a lot of buff stealing, right, which overall is quite great. So in conclusion, the Annihilators team is going to be very strong in Cosmic Crucible. Once again, some of these characters more on defense rather than on offense, but if you use these characters properly with the right combinations, they are going to definitely change the meta. They have unique abilities that on defense and on offense will counter right away some of the most meta teams that we have right now in Cosmic Crucible, so this is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. Once again, if you guys are on my Patreon or YouTube members, there will be a sister video to this one where I break down each of the rooms for Season 9 and which is the setup that I'm going to use, plus 4 teams that are good for each of the rooms that you can choose based on your roster. And that's going to be all for now, guys, so I hope you guys enjoy this overview of the Annihilators in Cosmic Crucible. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you stay tuned for the live streams where I'll be showcasing these characters and some of the combos that I have been using. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Mouse Life Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.